Hello and welcome to another episode of the Talking of Minds podcast. In this episode, we will be talking about rituals and the psychology of rituals, some of the research findings that we have about rituals. Why do they happen, and why are they important, and so on. So, will while defining rituals, it has to be said that rituals are a sequence of activities which involves gestures, words, actions. It can even involve some kind of objects, and rituals are performed repeatedly, and that's a very defining feature of a ritual that it is has to be done repeatedly, and most rituals are performed in some kind of a specific place for that, and many rituals will have a set of sequence of actions to be followed, and these are general, there is a general definition of rituals. Many which rituals can have variations as well, and the recent research that has happened on rituals has mainly focused on the evaluation of rituals, the functions that rituals have. No, they do have functions, in fact, and the cognitive and bodily mechanisms which are involved in rituals, and the ontology of rituals, or how infants or how small children acquire these rituals from others and from those around them. And these are the areas, and most of these research have been conducted in areas like sociology and anthropology, and very few amount of research work is done on the harmful effects of rituals when they are used as political tools, or when they are institutionalized by various social institutions. And in the area of psychology also, the number of research on rituals is very less when compared to the other fields. Now, notwithstanding these things, rituals do have a very major psychological component to them, and we should know that should be obvious also. And as we said, rituals do have a specific set of activities which to be performed, and they have psychological elements that typically enhance the meaning of the action which we do in a ritual. So whenever you do some specific action in a ritual, if that is a part of a ritual, this action will have a specific meaning, a meaning which is more than what is there to the actual action that you do. We'll try to see how that happens. And most of these rituals have a predefined sequences, and in case of religious rituals and all, these have to be rigidly followed, and there is no variation is accepted in any of these activities. And yes, they are embedded in a larger system of symbolism and meaning, and they do provide some kind of a meaning to people who do engage in rituals. And they have social, psychological, and some of these instrumental functions too. And rituals differ from our daily routines or routine activities in a specific point that rituals do have meaning and purpose. Most of the many routine activities may not have this kind of a meaning, a specific meaning to them. They may have purpose. Your the exercise that you do, the books that you read for your examination, or the practical exposure that you get, any of those routine activities may have a purpose, but they may not have a meaning, the kind of a meaning that is attached to ritual. That's what makes rituals different, and rituals more closer to our heart than daily routines. And rituals have been with us for thousands of years. There have been evidence of people worshipping a stone python, made of cardona stone, some 70,000 years ago. So rituals are not kind of a modern origin. They have been there with for a long time with humans. And the origins of rituals tells us that historically most of the rituals have originated in response to disease and danger. These two factors have had the most influence on formation of rituals among peoples and societies. So people practiced whatever ritual or whatever actions which they thought kept them safe from diseases and dangers, and that that applies to many of the modern, or many rituals that we have, in this, our current times too. And in a research that was conducted in Bihar in 2000, sports, we all see the kind of rituals that people go through when they are, performing in a sports event, maybe a cricket match, or a hockey match, or a baseball match, and a lot of, also in sprint events. And also, sports has a lot of rituals, people doing rituals. And that's what, brings us to the meaning, or the purpose of rituals. Why do people engage in rituals, or what makes people, all of us, including, all of us, stick to rituals or do rituals now? uh, Rituals reduce anxiety a lot. That's evident, in the research regarding rituals. And people are very quick to adopt rituals of a new place where they reach. So, it can be a new school, can be a new workplace, can be a new place of residence. Wherever we go, in order to reduce our anxiety of being at a new place, we look to rituals that people in that place follow, and we are very quick to learn these rituals in order to make us less anxious, in order to make us more comfortable in the new place. And this happens to all of us. Rituals also boost confidence. Rituals make us perform well. Rituals give us a lot of sense of control, in especially in situations where we feel, out of control, or we feel less in control. They provide a sense of control. Rituals do provide a sense of connection and bonding to people. In fact, in research conducted in North India, regarding, Diwali celebrations, it was shown that, people who engage in rituals during Diwali, enhance their social bonding with each other. And rituals do really provide relief after, any kind of, untoward incident. And coordinated movements, or the rituals that involve coordinated movements, make people who engage in these coordinated movements trust each other very much, or trust each other more. So this, this trust boosting, function of rituals is seen a lot in army or military and in religious rituals. We see a lot of religious and military rituals, which are supposed to be consist of coordinated movements by a lot of people, and they do have a purpose of, making people trust each other more. And in fact, rituals can enhance food consumption in table, no, the table rituals or the dinner rituals that some families adopt may have a very significant influence on their food consumption as well. And rituals act where there is an emotional deficit, and also rituals are part of many mental disorders as well. So ritualistic behavior is seen in disorders like the obsessive compulsive disorder, and they also have an emotional connection to them. And rituals tend to get stronger during times of uncertainty, such as the pandemic that we are now going on. It is very highly possible that people may tend to have more ritualistic behavior during pandemics or any uncertain kind in uncertain situations. And even new rituals may originate when people are as a group are faced with great uncertainties. And these are all about how rituals are important, how they sustain, why they don't go away from our lives and all. But there can be downsides, or there can be negatives for rituals as well. So one thing is that even having minimal rituals can lead to bias against people from other groups or people from groups which do not follow these rituals. So, even if a society or a religion or a group of people are minimally ritualistic, they don't have much of a rituals. But even in such situations, even having a minimalistic ritual behavior in a society, people in that group or that society can develop a negative bias against people who belongs to other groups or who they think that who perform other rituals. Now that's a very negative side which rituals can have, especially in a multicultural society like ours. And these feelings of outgroup hostility can also increase when people are faced with uncertain times. So we have to be extra careful when we are going through uncertain times as to how these rituals can make us hate others or suspect others, or can have ill feelings about others. And this increased outgroup monitoring while engaging in rituals was seen in even in children. In studies involving children, it was seen that they were very easily trying to identify others based on whether they share the same rituals as them or not. This was in controlled experiments, it was shown. So we have to be very careful when about these rituals, even though they provide some kind of a relief. With all those positives they can have, these are the negatives that can happen, and unknown to us, that can happen at a cognitive level in our brains. And what can we do with rituals? So, by now it should be certain that rituals won't go away, a single day. We cannot wish them away. Rituals are there with us. So, what do we do with them? One thing is to be aware of these negative sides of rituals. To be aware that, another person having the same ritual as ours may not tell us much about how to trust that person, or a person having a different ritual than ours may not tell much about the person as such. So that has to be borne in mind. Another area that we can work upon is to enhance our sticking to daily routine activities by converting them into rituals. So as we said, the point that makes rituals different from everyday routine activities is the enhanced kind of meaning that is provided by the ritual. So what if we can provide, or what if we can attach such kind of a meaning to our routine activities, such as the studies or our exercises or healthy lifestyle behaviors, or any of those behaviors that we are supposed to do as a routine, and ascribe meanings to them, so that we can convert those routine activities into rituals, so that they are, we can stick to them more, so that we can reduce the ill effects of rituals that we can have. That's another area of thought on how we can manipulate rituals, and how we can manipulate our tendency to engage in rituals by converting our routine activities into rituals. So that's it about the research on rituals, how they are important to us and how they can be harmful to us, and what we have to be aware of with regard to rituals. Thanks.